Alright, I'm gonna start and just wait for people to show up later or watch it on the YouTube channel. Alright, so I wanted to, after Biden has been in office for a week, I wanted to give like a look at all the things he's done, good, bad, real bad. So that's why it's called the good, bad, and the ugly. So let's start with the good. So Business Insider's put out a little page where you can look at all his executive orders. It's really nice and color coded where you can see where the executive orders line. It's really nice. So if you want to keep track. So here we go. Regulatory freeze pending review. So freezing regulatory stuff. I don't know. He rescinded the Muslim ban. That's good. Executive order on protecting public health and the environmental, restoring science to tackle the climate crisis. That's good. Proclamation on the termination of emergency with respect to southern border of the China. Okay, that's him stopping the border wall. That's also good. Executive order on ensuring lawful, accurate enumeration and appointment pursuit of decimal census. I don't know what that means. That's a lot of words. I'm assuming that means he's going to review all the people he appoints, but I could be wrong. So if you guys want to fact check it, that's cool. Modernizing regular review. Okay. Executive order on the revision of civil immigration enforcement policies. Okay. So he is rescinding a lot of the Trump immigration policies, which is good. He's not going full blast because he hasn't gotten rid of the kids in cages that he built. But it's a step in the process. But also get rid of the cages where the kids are, and also shut down ICE. That'd be nice. Fuck ICE. There are some cases in which ICE has slaves. I'm not joking. Look it up. National Day of Unity. Okay, cool. I don't like how Biden keeps calling for unity with Trump voters because they insurrected the Capitol and don't believe in democracy and have no real ideology. Executive order on advancing racial equity and support for unserved communities through the federal government. That's cool. That's a good thing. I don't know what exactly is in that thing, but from the looks of it, it sounds good. Executive order on preventing combat discrimination. Okay, so that's him rescinding the ban on transgenders from serving in the military. That's good. Executive order on revocation of certain executive orders concerning federal regulations. So that's just rescinding a lot of Trump's stuff that was bad. Cool. Executive order on protecting worker health and safety. Okay, so that was... And he put out an order that said, hey, if you quit your job because you feel it is not COVID safe, that you are in danger of getting COVID from your job, then you can quit that job and you will not be disqualified from unemployment, which I think is great. That'll keep people safe and stuff. Reinstating deferred enforced departure for okay, I don't know. A lot of these I don't know. I'm sorry. Preserving and fortifying deferred action for childhood arrivals. So he reapproved DACA. That is fantastic. That's good for the dreamers. Memorandum to extend federal support to governors used for National Guard to respond to COVID-19 and increase reimbursement of assistance provided by the U.S. Yeah, that. I don't know. On improving and expanding access to care and treatments. That's good. Good. We need treatments and stuff. Executive order on promoting COVID-19 safety in domestic and international affairs. Good. That's good. Executive order on economic relief related to COVID-19 pandemic. Awesome. Executive order on ensuring equitable pandemic response and recovery. Cool. They do go into a bit more in depth into each of the executive orders in this article. You can just scroll through. So I'm just giving the bullet point ones that they're giving me because I don't feel like spending all day on this. If you want to spend all day on this, I'll put a link to this in the YouTube video I'm putting up. Okay. Executive order on supporting the reopening and continuing operation of schools and early childhood education drivers. So I would agree to that if he moves with opening schools safely, because there's a big difference between opening schools and doing it safely. Because I think it is way too early to open schools right now. We're still rising very heavily. We're up to 4,400 deaths a day. So I think it's way too soon to do schools. If we get teachers vaccinated, then maybe. Yeah. I did see an article just before I came on that teachers are moving up in the list to get vaccinated, so that's good. Executive order on establishing the COVID-19 pandemic testing board, ensuring sustainable public health workforce and COVID-19 other biological threats. That's good. Proclamation on the suspension of entry of immigrants who pose. I don't know if that's him blocking them entering or him letting them enter. Let me see if I can find that in here. Okay, I don't know. I think it would be more of him like making sure that citizens who pose a risk to COVID-19 cannot travel in here. So yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff for executive order. Oh, he's encouraging masking. So he's forcing masks in all federal owned places, which is fantastic. That's the best he can do. So yeah, wear a mask, guys. Just do it, please. And yeah, so that's all good. That's all the good stuff. He's doing a lot of great things through executive order, which I think he should do. If he can do it through executive order, do it, because then he won't have to deal with like the litigation of going through the Senate and dealing with the 50 Republicans in there. So that's good. Now, time for a little bit of the bad. So this isn't necessarily Biden's fault, but I do think like there's a culture in the media because like, so channels like MSNBC and CNN are like Democrat good, Republican bad, which sometimes Democrat also bad. Okay, that's sometimes the case. That's just fact. So they're kind of right now. MSNBC and CNN are in a phase where they are just going to basically love Biden unconditionally. And this is a clip from they put out a memorial for COVID-19 victims, which I think, personally, it's way too early. People are still dying constantly. It's 4,400 a day, as I said earlier, so do the memorial later. So he put out a bunch of candles. I think it was like 400 each for the thousands of deaths, which it's probably like up to almost 500,000 by now. Like, it's getting probably pretty close. So here is a CNN comparing it to Biden's arms hugging us.
Still some tinkering going on with the inaugural address, but his aides have made really clear it's not like he's trying to ignore or paper over either what happened at the Capitol 2 weeks ago or what we've been through throughout 4 years of the Trump presidency. And the contrast on display tonight was so stark. I mean, those lights that are just shooting out from the Lincoln Memorial along the reflecting pool. It's like almost extensions of Joe Biden's arms embracing America. It was a moment where the new president came to town and sort of convened the country in this moment of remembrance, outstretching his arms. And contrast that with that video you just saw of a disgraced president on his way out at his lowest point in his presidency at the very end here by himself, fighting for his political movement to live on, and not even necessarily promising that he's going to be leading that movement, you noted in his remarks tonight. I just think that sort of isolated...
Okay, so you guys get the gist. So this guy's like, oh my God, the candles, so respectful. Biden, a gentle president. Oh my God, he's so great. He's so great. There are two things I can take from this. One, corporate media has basically had the perception of Democrat good, Republican bad, which is the case, I'd say, around 60% of the time. But sometime Democrat bad, and I'm going to get to some of the stories later in a minute that show Democrat bad. And Republican is always bad. I just want to put that out. But they're just fawning over praise of him constantly. And the media is supposed to be a watchdog of the people in power. And they should criticize people in power when they're doing something bad. In this case, sure, a memorial isn't is a good thing, but at the same time, they're doing a memorial in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of the thing happening. That'd be like if right after the first tower came down in 9/11, before the even towers came down, both of them, they were like, let's have a memorial in the middle of this tragic event. No, it's still going on. Okay, we should wait till after to put the memorial up, and also work to make sure there are less people in the final memorial. Okay, we should work to raise testing, raise vaccine stuff. Okay, we should be doing that instead of putting 400 candles around the White House and then have the media go, oh my God, it's like he's hugging us. It's like he's hugging us. Oh my God. Sorry, that was loud. So yeah, this is shameful. Jacobin did a really clever cover. Biden, Jesus. They did this cover. Let's go to images. Come on. So they did this cover, which, yes, I know Tim Pool covered this, and he didn't realize it was satire, which was hilarious. But that clip speaks for himself, so I'm not gonna add anything to that. So this is a cover of Jacobin. It's clearly satire of the medium people praising Joe Biden, loving him, former presidents, Pelosi and Schumer. They're all loving Biden. He's Jesus. And when he's doing just like standard stuff, just being a standard Democrat. He's done some good, some bad, but they're praising him like he's Jesus. And as you saw in this clip, him going, oh, it's like he's hugging us. I saw one media clip where they're like, oh, the former presidents of Obama, Bush, and also Biden are coming together. It's like the Avengers coming to save the day. I'm like, you're really doing that good job of being the watchdog of the people in power. Really doing a good job. Okay? You're just giving endless praise to the people in power when they really haven't done that much to deserve the praise. As I said before, the executive orders are a good thing. They're fantastic. But they're only a start. Okay? I made a rush when I said fantastic. But they're a start. Okay? And I'm going to get to something that the Democrats have not done yet in a minute. Okay? So that's that. So, also, Anthony Blinken. So he was just appointed as the new Secretary of State, and so he's being a bit coupish with Venezuela, which I think is ironic in that one of the conspiracy theories for why Biden won, quote unquote, illegitimately, he won legitimately, I just want to point that out, and there is no evidence to that contrary, but they were saying that Venezuela President Hugo Chavez, who has been dead for 10 years, put machines in the voting machines, parts in the voting machines to make it come out to Biden because Biden's a communist, which is not true. I wish he was a communist at this point. So, and now we hear Blinken. I'm just going to play the clip.
Senator, first of all, with regard to a number of the steps that were taken toward Venezuela in recent years, including recognizing Mr. Guaido, recognizing the National Assembly as the only democratically elected institution in Venezuela, seeking to increase pressure on the regime led by a brutal dictator in Maduro, as well as to try to work with some of our allies and partners. The hard part is that for all of those efforts, which I support, we obviously have not gotten the results that we need. And one of the things I would really welcome doing, if confirmed, is to come and talk some of that through with you and with others on this committee, because we need an effective policy that can restore Venezuela to democracy, starting with free and fair elections.
That means
and
a coup.
How can we best advance that ball? I think there's some things that we can look at, particularly better, stronger coordination, cooperation with like-minded countries. Maybe we need to look at how we more effectively target the sanctions that we have, so that regime enablers really feel the pain of those sanctions. And certainly, I believe there's more that we need to try to do in terms of humanitarian assistance, given the tremendous suffering of the Venezuelan people, as well as helping some of the neighboring countries that have borne the brunt of refugees from Venezuela. But I'd welcome an opportunity, if confirmed, to talk to you about that.
So that's a coup. Oh, sorry.
Your most
I did
life-changing
autoplay.
sleep is about what's underneath. This is a Casper mattress.
Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, so he's talking about a coup. That's like he also said he's not recognizing Maduro as the leader and only recognizing Guaido, the democratically elected. Like, I don't know exactly what he said. Let me replay it back real quick. Right after this ad, I have it muted.
Senator, first of all, toward Venezuela in recent years, including recognizing Mr. Guaido, recognizing the National Assembly as the only democratic.
Okay, the National Assembly and Mr. Guaido is the leader. Okay, so Maduro is the leader of Venezuela. You don't have to agree with him. You don't have to think he's a good person. You don't have to think he's a fair person, but he is the leader of Venezuela. Okay? Imagine the outrage to say if, like, Vladimir Putin was like, I don't recognize Biden as the leader of the United States. That'd be insane. And we're equivalently doing the same thing, okay? So Maduro is the leader of Venezuela, and what he's talking about is possibly overthrowing the government of Venezuela. And, like, he tries to reframe it as, oh, we're going to restore democracy. That's a coup. That's a coup. That is you invading another country, either with sanctions or with boots on the ground, to install your preferred leader. Okay? That is a coup. Okay? That is terrible. That is a war crime. It is close to what we were doing in Iraq with Saddam Hussein. Okay? I'm not saying Maduro is a good leader. He's probably terrible. Okay? Probably, I don't know much about him, but we probably shouldn't overthrow him, because that's none of our business. We got problems in our own country before we worry about problems in others, okay? So there's that. There's the bad. So have fun looking forward to Venezuelan war. Alright. Now, that was the bad and kind of the ugly. But now I'm going to get to the true ugly. So, you might be looking at your wallet and thinking, hey, I don't have that $2,000 check they promised me. And you are right to think that. A betrayal. Jorma voters enraged after Democrats promise $2,000 checks, and it becomes $1,400 checks, and now we don't even know if that's going to get passed. So here's how. So I'm going to get into this article in a sec, but let me show you the video of Jon Ossoff, the Georgia Democrat, arguing in favor of $2,000 checks.
Able to pass $2,000 stimulus checks for the people next week when we win these races in Georgia and get economic relief directly into the bank accounts of the American people who are suffering right now.
By electing John and the Reverend, you can make an immediate difference in your own lives, the lives of the people all across this country, because their election will put an end to the block in Washington that $2,000 stimulus check. That money that will go out the door immediately. Tell people who are in real trouble.
We will be able to pass $2,000.
Okay, so they said, that was pretty clear to me, immediately $2,000 checks. I haven't seen those checks. Jon Ossoff would be here next week, about a week ago, so I kind of want to know where that money is, and I'd like it now. Thank you. And I know that I myself am well off, but other families are not well off, and some of them are facing evictions, and some of them are not able to pay their rent. I don't know what the stats are, but I think it was like at least 40 or 50% of people cannot pay their rent, or 3 or 4 months behind rent. So that's not good. So I'm again to this article. This comes from Mediaite. All right, President-elect Biden releasing his long-awaited stimulus proposal last year and contain. So it started out, all right, 2,000 checks immediately. That has not happened. Then it became, oh, did we say 2,000? We meant 1,400 plus the 600 you got last week. So it would be a total of 2,000. That's what we meant. Sorry for the confusion. Oh, did we say we were going to pass it through reconciliation, which requires only 51 votes, and we could easily get that because we have 50 votes in the Senate plus the vice president, which makes it 51 votes. We meant we're going to try and get it through regular order, which requires 60 votes, which means that 9 Republicans at least would have to sign on, which isn't going to happen. So we might not even get the 1,400. So yeah, we kind of just lied. They can easily get through reconciliation. They just do a standalone bill, get budget reconciliation, boom, $2,000. They can also do this magical thing called rescinding the filibuster. Now, the Democrats standing in the way of that are Manchin and Sinema. They're more conservative Democrats in states like West Virginia and Arizona. And they're claiming that they can't rescind the filibuster because they're in a red state, more or less. Except Arizona went blue for Biden last time. But West Virginia is very hardcore Trump country, and it went for Trump both times. But here's the thing. I'm pretty sure West Virginia voters don't even know what a filibuster is. Where West Virginia voters are more right-leaning is with stuff like gun control and abortion. Not with economic stuff. With economic stuff, they want that money and they need that money. Okay? So, I don't think that's a hard issue. And also, the filibuster, they don't give a shit. They don't even know what it is. Okay? So I can kind of respect the argument if you're like, hey, we can't get rid of the filibuster because when the Republicans are in control, they can do whatever the fuck they want. Yes, that's a fair point, but that's not what they're arguing. They're arguing that if we get rid of the filibuster, we're going to lose in 2022, which is just not true, okay? Okay? I think we're going to lose in 2022 if we don't get rid of the filibuster and act aggressively and give people money, which we're apparently not doing. So I'm going to get into some quotes for this. So the main reason why Warnock and Ossoff won is they were like, hey, if you vote us, $2,000 checks out the door immediately. Okay, you were getting that money. The last quote, this is from Democratic viewer Marjorie Taylor Greene. The last few weeks heading towards the runoff election, especially after Trump endorsed the $2,000 payments, Warnock and Ossoff made it a point to endorse and exclusively say $2,000 checks. A lot of people in my district voted blue in the runoff for two main reasons. One, Loeffler improved denying the U.S. COVID while profiting millions for himself. And two, $2,000 checks. They really underestimate how much people are hurting economically. Okay? There was one quote that really stuck with me from this. I need to find it. Sorry about this. Okay, here's one from Rogelio Lianes, who hails from Atlanta. He was one of the people knocking on doors. I was on the ground. I knocked on over 1,000 doors, he told me. At the doors, I was literally telling people, $2,000 checks. You can rely on this. I'm a man of principle and my morals. I feel like shit. I lied to them. I was lying to them the whole time. I was lying to people who were lying on this. At the time, I did not know it was a lie, but that was not the reality. So this is going to be a stamp on the Democratic Party. People are going to look at this and say, hey, you told me I was getting a $2,000 check immediately. You told me that. You looked right in my eyes and said that. And I voted for you because of that. Now that I don't have that $2,000 check, I am hurting. I am about to be evicted. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay my bills. And I put my faith in you, and you did not deliver. I'm not going to vote for you in 2022. You straight up lied to me. Yes, the Republicans are terrible, and always mostly 100% terrible, but you straight up lied to me, so I don't want to put my faith in you either. The lesser evils argument does not always work when the other side is, when the lesser evil is also lying and stabbing them in the back, okay? They said $2,000 checks. Like, I can play the clip again.
$1,000 stimulus checks for the people
next week. He literally said next week. And we still do not have, they haven't even begun the process. Okay? Now, there are two ways they could have done it, okay? Day one, they start the process through regular order and they say, hey, the Republicans stopped us, but we're going to try and get it through reconciliation. There you can kind of get credit because they're starting it through reconciliation where they only need 51 votes. Okay? Or they start on reconciliation day one, get out 51 votes, done. Okay? Either way, they would have gotten credit and people would have been like, hey, these guys are looking out for me. Okay? But that is not the case. They straight up lied to their voters. An equal indictment of capitulating media. Media isn't even talking about this as well. Like, that's a good point. Okay? Media has not been, hey, these Democrats straight up lied to you. Okay? So, yeah, that is terrible. This is one. It's a betrayal of the working class. David Sirota compared it to when Bush said no new taxes. So, yeah. That's true. So yeah, that's how people are feeling betrayed, and this might cost them. And even though the Republicans are about to have a civil war because Trump's starting the Patriot Party, which is going to take a good percentage of the Republican vote, people are still going to go, hey, you promised me $2,000. I didn't get it. Fuck you. So that's that. Hopefully Democrats turn it around in a day and be like, okay, we messed up, guys. Here's your money. My bad. But that's not all. That's not going to be enough. They also promised a $15 minimum wage. They just came out with a bill for a $15 minimum wage, but it's not going to be out till 2025. Minimum. Oh, how soon? Yeah, apparently not. You could have started this weeks ago. So, they released a bill. I can't find it. I'm sorry about that. But, minimum wage. I'm going to just Google minimum wage 2025. Okay. Here we are. Dems introduce a bill to raise the minimum wage by 2025. Okay. The problem with that is by 2025, minimum wage of $15 an hour is going to be basically the same amount of worth as the $7.25 minimum wage right about now. So, not enough. Okay, maybe crunch that time. It's a good step in the right direction that we're working towards a $15 minimum wage, but hey, this is already the watered-down version, and they're trying to get through 60 votes or reconciliation. I cannot see this passing. What they should have done is come out and say, all right, we want minimum wage of $20 an hour now. Okay? And then the more conservative Democrats and Republicans be like, hey, we'll give you 15. And then we get that, you get praise. Awesome. But no, they're coming already to the table with the watered-down bill. And it's extremely watered down. So, yeah, we're probably not even going to get this. So, why don't they just... Yeah, so that's bad. Yeah, they would increase the minimum wage to $9.50 in 2021, which is not good. That's not nearly enough. Okay, we need it to be 15 now. It needs to be like 20 now, but like 15 is the compromise. So, yeah, that's all the Biden stuff. Again... I'm gonna put a link to the executive order article in the YouTube video I eventually uploaded this, so you can look at all Biden's executive orders. Also going to put a link to this Mediaite article and this, maybe not this exact one. I'll do like the I'll do the CNN one. That's more official. Fuck CNN. Yeah, and so I think that's all I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so really disgusting stuff. So we're moving in the right steps barely, but we need that money, and I think it's disgusting that Democrats just lied to us. So, all right, thanks for watching Sea of Noise. Bye.